The night was dark, cold, and full of rain. The streets were almost empty. Only the sound of thunder moved through the sky. At this hour, most people stayed inside their warm homes. But one man was still on the road, Armin, a billionaire known for his quiet nature and gentle heart. He was driving back from a long business meeting, tired and wanting rest. As his car turned onto a narrow street, something unusual caught his eyes. A tiny figure stood in the middle of the road. At first, Armin thought it was a shadow. But when he slowed down, the figure moved closer. It was a little girl. She looked no more than 7 or 8 years old, her clothes soaked from the rain. Her hair stuck to her face. She was shivering. Armin immediately stopped his car before he could open the door. She walked up to his window and whispered something. Her voice was so soft he almost didn't hear it. "Sir, my mom can't walk anymore." Armin froze. He looked at her again. Her eyes were filled with fear, but also a strange hope, like she was praying he would help. He stepped out of the car, letting the rain hit him. "Where is your mom?" he asked gently. The little girl didn't answer. Instead, she held his hand with her tiny cold fingers and pulled him toward the side of the street. Armin followed her down a narrow alley. The place was dark, with broken lights and wet walls. The sound of water dripping from roofs echoed around them with every step. A strange feeling grew inside Armin. Something was wrong. Something deeper than a simple accident. At the end of the alley, the girl stopped. "She's here," she whispered. Armin looked down. A woman lay on the ground, half conscious. She looked exhausted, weak, and unable to stand. Her breathing was slow. Her face was pale. She seemed like she had been there for hours. Armin quickly bent down and checked her pulse. It was faint but steady. "What happened to her?" he asked. The girl hugged her mother's arm. "She fell, and she can't stand. We were running, and she got tired. Please, don't leave us like everyone did." Those last words stabbed Armin's heart, like everyone did. How many people had walked past them? How many had ignored this little girl standing helpless in the rain? Armin didn't think twice. He carefully lifted the woman in his arms. She was light, as if she hadn't eaten properly for days. "We need to go to a hospital," he said. The girl nodded and followed silently, but as Armin turned around, he felt something. A presence. A pair of eyes watching them from a distance. He looked toward the far end of the alley. A tall shadow stood near the broken fence. The rain made it hard to see details, but the shadow didn't move. It just watched him. Armin's heartbeat quickened. He took a step back, holding the woman tightly. "Is someone there?" he called out. The shadow didn't respond. It slowly stepped back and disappeared behind the fence. The little girl held Armin's sleeve tightly. "Please hurry," she whispered. Her voice trembled. "He might come back." Armin didn't understand. But he knew one thing: the girl and her mother were in danger. He rushed them to his car and placed the woman gently in the back seat. The girl sat beside her, holding her hand tightly, tears mixing with the rain on her cheeks. Armin started the engine. "Don't worry," he said, trying to calm her. "I'm taking you both to safety." The girl looked at him with wide, hopeful eyes. "Thank you, sir. You're the first person who stopped." As the car sped through the rain, Armin couldn't shake the image of the shadow in the alley. Who was watching them? Why were they running? And what danger followed them on this stormy night? These questions filled his mind as they drove away, and the night grew darker behind them. Armin drove through the rain as fast as he safely could. The hospital wasn't far, but every minute felt like an hour. The little girl, Hania, kept checking her mother's breathing. Her small hands trembled each time her mother exhaled slowly. "Is she going to be okay?" Hania finally asked. Armin glanced at the mirror. Her eyes were full of fear, the kind of fear a child should never know. "She will be," he said softly. "I promise." When they reached the hospital, Armin carried the woman inside. A nurse rushed over with a stretcher. Hania tried to hold her mother's hand, but Armin gently guided her aside as the doctors took over. "Let them help her," he whispered. Hania nodded, but tears filled her eyes. She wiped them quickly as if she didn't want to look weak, They waited in a quiet hallway. The lights flickered slightly, giving the place a cold feeling. The storm outside continued, making the windows rattle. After a while, a doctor walked out. He was an older man, with a calm voice, but serious eyes. "She's dehydrated," he explained. "Very weak. Stress, hunger, and maybe fear. Something has been troubling her for a long time." Hania lowered her head. Armand asked, "Can I see her?" "Yes, but not for long," the doctor replied. "She needs rest." Armand placed his hand on Hania's shoulder. "Come, your mom needs you." They entered the room quietly. The woman lay on the bed, an oxygen mask over her face. Her eyes were closed, but her breathing sounded better. Hania ran to her side and held her hand. "Mama, we are safe now." Her mother opened her eyes slightly. When she saw Armand, a strange mix of fear and relief crossed her face. "Who is he?" she whispered. "He helped us," Hania said. "He didn't leave like the others." The woman nodded weakly. "Thank you." "Sir," Armand smiled gently. "No need to thank me. You both needed help." But inside, he felt something strange. Why were they out there alone? Why were they running? Who was that shadow watching them? Before Armand could ask anything, a nurse came in. "Sir, the girl needs to rest too. She looks exhausted." Armand guided Hania outside again and bought her some warm soup from the cafeteria. She held the cup carefully, blowing on it before taking small sips. After a moment of silence, Armand said, "Hania, can you tell me what happened? Why were you and your mom alone in the rain?" Hania stopped sipping. Her hands froze. "We were hiding," she said quietly. "From who?" She shook her head. "Mama told me not to say his name. She said he's dangerous. She said if I speak about him, he will find us." Her eyes filled with tears again, but she didn't cry. She looked like a child who had learned to stay strong too early. "Has he hurt you?" Armand asked softly. Hania didn't answer. She looked at the floor. Her silence spoke more than words. Before Armand asked again, his phone vibrated. Unknown number, he ignored it. A few minutes later, the doctor returned. "We must keep your mother here for the night," he told Hania. "She is safe now." Hania nodded. She looked relieved, but still scared. The doctor turned to leave, but instead of walking straight, he stepped aside and dialed a number. His voice became low. Armand accidentally overheard him say, "I found them." Armand's heart skipped a beat. Them? Who was he talking to? And why did he sound so serious? He stepped closer, trying to hear more. But the doctor ended the call quickly and walked away as if nothing happened. Armand looked at Hania. She didn't hear anything. She was too busy watching her mother through the glass window. Armand's mind filled with suspicion. Something wasn't right here. Someone was looking for them. And the doctor might have just alerted that person. Outside, the storm grew louder. Inside, Armand felt a new storm rising within him. A storm of questions. And one thing was clear. Hania and her mother were not safe yet. The rain slowed by morning, but the sky stayed gray, heavy, and silent. Armand had stayed awake the whole night in the hospital hallway. He kept watching the doctor who made the secret phone call. Every time the doctor walked past, Armand's eyes followed him. Something about the man felt wrong to calm. It was cold. Hania slept curled up on a chair beside Armand, using his jacket as a blanket. She was small, fragile, and tired. Yet she looked peaceful for the first time since he found her in the rain. At sunrise, a nurse came to tell them Hania's mother was awake. Armand lifted Hania gently. "Come, your mom wants to see you." Hania rubbed her eyes and smiled softly. "Really?" They entered the room. The woman looked stronger, but still weak. Her eyes widened when she saw Armand, as if she remembered something important. "You saved us," she whispered, "but you shouldn't have." Armand frowned. "Why not?" She looked at her daughter and hesitated. Then she whispered, "Because he will come." A chill ran through Armand's body. "Who?" he asked. The woman squeezed Hania's hand. "A man who won't stop." A man we tried to escape for months. Her voice trembled. He wants Hania and me. Armand leaned closer. Why? What does he want from you? The woman looked away. I cannot say. It will put you in danger too. Before Armand could ask more, the hospital door opened. A tall man entered, wearing a long black coat. His face was sharp, his eyes cold like winter. The woman gasped. Hania froze. Armand immediately stepped in front of them. Who are you? Armand asked. The man didn't answer. He took a step forward. Hania, the woman whispered shakily. Look down. Don't look at him. The man smiled slightly. You ran well, he said in a chilling tone. But your journey ends today. Armand clenched his fists. This is a hospital. Leave them alone. The man finally looked at him. The rich hero. His voice was deep, threatening. You found something that doesn't belong to you, Armand replied. They are human beings, not objects. The man's smile faded. Move, never. Before the situation got worse, a nurse walked in unexpectedly. The man quickly stepped back and said, We will meet again. He walked out calmly as if nothing happened. The woman collapsed against her pillow, breathing heavily. Hania hugged her tightly. Mama, I'm scared. Armand closed the door and locked it. Then he knelt beside the woman. You need to tell me everything, he said firmly. I can't help if I don't know. The woman hesitated, but she finally nodded. My name is Sarah, she began softly. I worked for that man, as a caretaker for someone he was hiding. When I learned the truth about his business, he threatened to destroy my life. I tried to escape with Hania, but he followed us everywhere. What kind of business? Armand asked. Sarah looked terrified. The kind where silence keeps you alive. Armand understood she couldn't give details. But one thing was clear, that man was dangerous. He decided instantly, You're both coming with me. Hania looked up. To your home. Yes, Armand said. You will be safe there, Sarah shook her head. No, he will follow us. He always finds us, Armand replied firmly. Not this time, called one of his trusted friends Zion. A private investigator known for his sharp mind and bravery. Within 20 minutes, Zion arrived at the hospital. He was tall, confident, and moved like someone who expected danger every day. Armand, Zion said, you said it was urgent. Armand nodded. We're dealing with a dangerous man. I need information, fast. Zion studied Sarah carefully. I'll find him, and whatever he wants. But before they could leave the room, Armand's phone buzzed. He checked it. A new message. One sentence. You took what's mine. I'm coming. Armand looked at the hallway security camera feed on his phone. A tall figure in a black coat stood near the entrance waiting. The same man, Zane, leaned over Armand's shoulder. He's bold, he said. Armand replied, he just made a mistake. Because now Armand wasn't only trying to help them, he was ready to protect them at any cost. Armand didn't waste a second. The message from the unknown number kept flashing in his mind. You took what's mine. I'm coming. He looked at Sarah and Hania. Both were pale, frightened, and exhausted. He knew he had to move fast. Zion Armand said, we need to get them out. Now. Zion nodded. There's a back exit. Safer than the front door. Armand helped Sarah sit up slowly. She leaned on him, still weak, but trying to stay strong for Hania. Hania held her mother's hand tightly, refusing to let go. They moved through the quiet hospital corridors. Every sound, every footstep, every closing door felt like a warning. Armand kept looking behind, expecting the man in the black coat to appear at any second. When they reached the back exit, Zion stopped. Wait, he whispered. Something's off. Armand scanned the area. The alley behind the hospital was empty. Too empty. Let's go, Armand urged. Zion stepped outside first, checking left and right with alert eyes. After a few seconds, he signaled them to move. They exited quickly, heading toward Armand's car, which was parked behind a row of bushes. But before they reached it, Sarah whispered, He's here. I feel it. Armand placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. Not while I'm with you. They got into the car. Armand helped Sarah into the back seat beside Hania. Zion took the passenger seat as Armand started the engine. He noticed something on the rearview mirror. A black car parked at the far end. Wasn't there before Zion saw it too. Drive. Slowly. Don't draw attention. Armand nodded and moved forward calmly. The black car didn't move. But the feeling of being watched grew stronger. They reached the main road and only then did Armand speed up. Sarah hugged Hania. "Don't look back," she whispered. Armand drove them to his private safe, House of Quiet. Heavily secured property on a hill outside the city, it was surrounded by high walls and monitored by cameras 24/7. When they arrived, Zion immediately checked the security system. "All clear," Zion said. "At least for now." Armand helped Sarah inside. The house was warm, peaceful, the exact opposite of the fear they had lived in. Hania looked around with wide eyes. "Is this your home?" Armand smiled. "One of them. And now, it's your safe place." For the first time in days, Hania relaxed a little. Sarah settled on the sofa. "Armand, why are you helping us? You don't even know us." Armand sat across from her. His calm eyes held a quiet strength. "Because no one helped me when I needed it once," he said softly. "And because Hania asked me not to leave you like everyone else did." Hania looked up at him with gratitude. Zion cleared his throat. "We need to talk about that man." Sarah's face tightened with fear. Zane continued, "I did a quick background search. Whoever he is, he hides his identity well. Very well. No legal records. No business files? Nothing," Armand asked. "So how do we find him?" Zion smiled slightly. "Everyone leaves a trail. Even the ghosts." Just then, Armand's security system beeped. A new camera alert. Armand opened the feed. A static glitch flashed across the screen, then cleared. Zion frowned. That shouldn't happen. Armand switched to another camera. Same glitch. It was as if someone was trying to tap into the system. Sarah grabbed Hania protectively. "He found us." Armand shook his head. "The system is too advanced. No one can break in that fast." But Zion didn't look convinced. Unless he prepared long before this. The screen glitched again. Anne froze on one image. A symbol. A circle with a single black line through it. Sarah gasped. "That's his mark." Armand stared at the symbol. "What does it mean?" Sarah whispered, "It means he's close. Closer than you think." For a moment, the whole room went silent. Armand stood up slowly. His voice was calm but firm. "He wants a fight," he said. "Then he will get one." Hania held his hand. "Will you protect us?" Armand knelt down to her level. "I will protect you with everything I have," he promised. It wasn't just a promise, it was a vow. A vow made in the shadows. Against a man who refused to stay hidden. And Armand was ready. Because some battles were worth fighting. Some lives were worth risking everything for. The safe house was usually calm at night, but tonight it felt different. Too quiet. Too still. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath, waiting for something to happen. After dinner, Sarah and Hania rested in the guest room. Sarah finally looked less pale, and Hania had stopped shaking. For the first time in days, they seemed a little safe, but Armand wasn't fooled. He knew calm moments often came before bigger storms. Zion joined Armand in the living room, checking the security screens again and again. "All cameras are stable now," Zion said. "But that symbol earlier, that's not normal." Armand nodded. "He's playing with our minds, trying to scare us." Zion leaned back. It worked. Armand didn't respond, but he felt it too. That strange mark on the camera, it bothered him. Hours passed. The sky outside turned darker. Sarah and Hania finally fell asleep. Zion took the couch, keeping his gun nearby, just in case. Armand walked to the balcony, looking out at the hills. No cars, no footsteps, no sound. But his instincts whispered that the danger wasn't far. He had just stepped back inside. When everything changed. The lights went out. All at once? Every room, every hall, the entire safe house dropped into darkness. Zane stood instantly. What the? Armin grabbed a flashlight. Backup generators should have turned on. It didn't. That means someone cut the power. Hania woke up in the guest room. Mama, why is it dark? Sarah hugged her. Stay close, baby. Armand rushed to them. It's okay. Just stay with me. But even he wasn't completely sure. Zion checked the control panel in the hallway. This isn't normal. The generator didn't fail, it was disabled. Metallic thump echoed from the outside. Everyone froze. Hania grabbed Armin's hand. Sarah's breath grew heavy. Zion raised his gun. Another thump. Then, footsteps, slow, confident, purposeful. Armand whispered, "Everyone stay behind me." He moved toward the living room window. Rain had started again, tapping lightly on the glass. But the footsteps outside were louder. Someone was walking around the house. Zion positioned himself near the main door. Ready to shoot if needed, Armin aimed a flashlight toward the window. Nothing. Sahan whispered, "Maybe it's an animal," before he finished the sentence. A shadow moved across the window. Tall, sharp, familiar. Sarah gasped. It's him. Armin tightened his grip on the flashlight. Zion pointed his gun, but instead of attacking, the shadow stopped outside, standing completely still. Then a voice, cold and echoing, spoke from the darkness. Armand. Armand felt a chill go down his spine. The man continued, "Do you think walls can stop me? Lights can stop me? Cameras can stop me?" Zion cursed under his breath. He traced the signal. He knows the system. The voice grew deeper. "Give them back. You have no idea what you're involved in." Armand stepped closer to the door. "Come inside, then. Face me." A low laugh echoed. "Not tonight. Tonight. I just wanted you to feel what they felt." The shadow moved away slowly. Armand ran to the camera screen. It flickered, glitched, then came back. The man in the black coat appeared on the screen for a second, his face half visible but some kind of mask covered. His lower features, only his eyes showed, sharp and lifeless. Suddenly, camera cut out again. Static. Swine tried to fix it, but nothing worked. He jammed the signal. He's smarter than we thought. Armand looked at the guest room door, where Sarah and Hania hid behind him, trembling. "He's not here to take them tonight," Armand said. "He's testing us, studying us," Zahn added. "And he's telling us he can get in any time he wants." The lights suddenly flickered once, twice, then returned, as if nothing had happened. Sarah collapsed onto the sofa, shaking. "He won't stop. He never stops." Hania hugged Armin tightly. "Don't let him take us, please." Armand held her close. "I won't. I promise." But deep inside, he knew something had changed tonight. The man was no longer hiding. He was warning. The real fight was coming soon, and Armin needed to be ready, ease their king. What he wants. They do. Armin looked at Zion. "All the more reason to end this." Hania tugged his sleeve. "Will you come back?" Armand smiled gently and touched her head. "I promise." But even he knew promises could break in dangerous situations. Zion drove while Armand prepared his phone with the tracked location. The warehouse was far from the city, quiet, isolated, forgotten by everyone except the man who used it. The path leading to it was muddy and surrounded by tall, dead grass. The building itself was old, with broken windows and a sagging roof, but something about it felt alive, watching them. "This is it," Zion said. Armin nodded. "Stay alert." They entered cautiously. The inside was dim, with old machinery, rusted pipes, and dusty crates. The air smelled of metal and smoke. Then they heard it. Footsteps, slow, echoing, confident. The man in the black coat appeared at the far end, tapping slowly. "I knew you'd come," he said, voice calm as ice. Armin stepped forward. "This ends now." The man tilted his head. Brave words. For someone who doesn't know the game. Zion aimed his gun. Drop the act. We traced you, the man laughed. I let you trace me. I wanted you here. Armand's eyes narrowed. Why? So I can teach you, the man said, that saving them was your biggest mistake. He snapped his fingers. Two men stepped out of the shadows behind him, armed and ready. Zion whispered. We're outnumbered, Armand interrupted. We don't need numbers. We need courage. A sudden burst of movement erupted. Armand charged toward one of the men, dodging a strike and knocking him out with a heavy blow. Zion tackled the second man, fighting with quick, sharp moves. The man in the black coat watched, amused. When both guards fell, Armand stepped toward him. Enough, Armand growled. Let them live their life. The man's expression finally changed. Cold anger replaced amusement. Give me Hania, he said darkly. She belongs with me. Armand's voice became steel. She belongs with her mother. Tense silence filled the warehouse. Then the man lunged. Armand met him halfway. The fight was brutal. Grabs, punches, the crash of metal, the scrape of boots. The man fought like he was trained to destroy. But Armand fought with something stronger. Purpose. He remembered Hanea's small, trembling hands. He remembered her whisper, "Don't leave us." Remembered his promise. With one powerful strike, Armand knocked the man to the ground. Zion rushed over, grabbing handcuffs. He's done. The man lifted his head weakly. This isn't over. Armand glared down at him. For them, it is. Police arrived within minutes after Zion sent a distress signal. The man was taken away, struggling and shouting threats that now meant nothing. Armand and Zion returned to the safe house. Hania ran to Armand and hugged him tightly. You came back. Sarah cried softly. Thank you for saving us. Armand placed a hand on Hania's head. You're safe now, he said gently. And this time, it wasn't just a promise. It was the truth. The storm in their lives had finally ended. A new sunrise began.